Thank you so much for that kind introduction. Greetings to the graduates, friends, family members, and faculty who are attending this event. It is an honor to be invited to speak with you today, and it's particularly special for me in two ways. First, this is a virtual homecoming for me in many respects. I grew up just a stone's throw from here in the neighboring state of West Virginia, in the small town of Canova, better known as the Western Gate to the Mountain State. It has a population of 3,000 if you round up. I had an amazing childhood growing up in this part of the country, wonderful parents, two great brothers, and friends that have lasted a lifetime. Growing up in Appalachia instilled in me three core values that have served me well throughout my career: integrity, humility, and teamwork. And while I've lived in 10 states and traveled the globe since leaving Appalachia more than 3 decades ago, my heart never left. And over the years, I've come to know two things to be true. West Virginia is indeed almost heaven, which means Virginia must be heaven. The second reason this event is special for me is because of the role Virginia has long played in our company's success. We have an amazing team members in Fredericksburg as well as Wise, Virginia. In fact, Wise was the site of our very first Prosperity Hub, where we proved to the Silicon Valley and to the world that communities who have been overlooked and underserved for too long are a source of incredible talent. And when given the opportunity, they can be a driving force in the 21st century, all without having to move to New York, Boston, or the Silicon Valley to participate. Wise, Virginia proved that to be true, and it is now our top performing site. As a result, Intuit has now launched 7 Prosperity Hubs in communities like Bluefield, West Virginia, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Hazard, Kentucky, and each are following the blueprint that Wise developed, creating more than 2,300 jobs and generating $123 million in local economic impact in these regions. So on behalf of our company and those whose lives you have improved, we celebrate you and we celebrate the state of Virginia. While this impact is uplifting and encouraging, this past year has been anything but. We've all had to navigate some incredibly challenging circumstances. We've endured natural disasters from fires in Australia to the west coast of the United States, floods in Indonesia, earthquakes in Puerto Rico and Turkey, volcanoes in Mexico, Japan, and the Philippines, storms in Spain, and hurricanes in the Gulf Coast. Heck, we've even had a locust infestation. And then came coronavirus, COVID-19, the great pandemic, with large numbers of individuals who were infected or passed away, bringing tremendous grief and sadness. Economies have been shut down, jobs and entire businesses lost, major events have been postponed and canceled, and we've all had to adjust to a new normal. Shelter in place, face masks, Zoom meetings, social distancing, distance learning, and the list goes on and on and on. In many ways, this past year has been a great amplifier for some and a great discriminator for others, disproportionately impacting certain demographic groups and geographic regions, exposing the inequity that still surrounds us. And yet here we stand. Here you stand, the most blessed and best prepared class of students in our nation's history. Yes, I said blessed, and I suspect that description may surprise you. After all, aren't you the class that had your school year interrupted, your spring break plans canceled, your commencement ceremonies moved to this virtual event, internships postponed, and now you're entering a job market that is still navigating the continued disruption and uncertainty? The answer to all of these questions is yes. And it is these things that make you and your peers the most blessed and the best prepared class in our nation's history. That is, if you choose to make it so. Because having lived through these things has instilled in you 3 critical skills that are necessary for succeeding in the 21st century: adaptability, resilience, and purpose. Let me begin with adaptability. To quote Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. One of the most sought-after skills in the 21st century is discovery-driven thinking, also known as design thinking. It's the ability to develop scenario plans versus the false precision of trying to predict the future with a singular approach. It involves developing multiple hypotheses, running rapid experiments, and pivoting quickly if something isn't working. It's the secret to success in the Silicon Valley, and with COVID-19, you are living through the greatest application of discovery-driven thinking in the last 100 years. You're blessed. The second sought-after skill is resilience, or more simply stated, grit. Grit is defined as the combination of passion and perseverance in pursuit of an important goal. Winston Churchill was right when he stated that the definition of success is the ability to go from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. In fact, 90% of all successful startups in the Silicon Valley failed on their first idea. Success requires grit, and given what you've lived through in the past year, you've developed unparalleled levels of resilience and grit, and you're blessed to have it. Which takes me to the third critical skill, having a defined purpose. Mark Twain once said the two most important days in your life are the day that you're born and the day you discover why. And the best time to figure out your purpose or your why is now. In fact, the book I recommend everyone read is The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter, and How to Make the Most of Them Now by Meg Jay. I encourage you to take the time to pause and reflect on the questions that it asks, even if you're not in your 20s. I think you're going to be amazed by the patterns and the insights that will emerge. Which brings me full circle to where I started. With you, being the most blessed and the best prepared graduating class in our nation's history. Having lived through these recent experiences has provided you with the three most critical skills for succeeding in the 21st century: adaptability, resilience, and purpose. The events of the past year may have felt like disadvantages along the way, but they were actually blessings in disguise, because the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fires. And now it's your turn. You are our best and our brightest. You are the hopes of today and the leaders of tomorrow. You're the dreams of parents and the result of love and sacrifice. And you are now the proud graduates of UVA Wise. This is your time. Commit to being the change that you seek and go put your dent in the universe. You were made for this. Congratulations, we celebrate you.